All right. So, welcome to today's design review. And as you all know, my name is Ekiade Adetunji. I'm the founder of Ceasar Graphics Academy and Ceasar Graphics. So today I have 5 designs from the group members. And before we get into the um, today's design, I need you all to know that uh, good design tell the story fast and as quickly as possible. All right. And the best way to do this right is having your readers in mind. All right. Always have your readers in mind. See how you can put the design element together to help them quickly get the message fast. All right. Now, there are times where you have to surprise them. All right. By creating something interesting that will make them stay and start solving the equation of why and how what you put together is possible. Okay. But you do this with making sure that the project is simple enough for them to see that thing that you want to use to draw their attention, for them to read every information on your design. All right, so I am going to go straight to the 5 designs that we have today, and I'm going to say what each designer need to work on, and I'll let you guys know why the designs the design. If I see any successful design, I'll let you know why the design is successful. And if I see any design that is not successful, I'll tell you what the designer need to avoid. And I believe this is another way you all can also become good creative person. So take everything I say today serious and watch out for them on your next project. Okay. When I first saw this design, I thought these people here are also part of the, I thought these people here are also part of the speakers, because I noticed we have a picture here, we have this here, and then we also have this here. So here, the use of images, all right, is not balanced. Okay, so next time when you are asked to work on design project and you want to use an illustration of a character, please do something to this. All right, it's either you make this look abstract by making it look different from the picture of the speakers here. And then the other thing you also need to work on again is avoid placing your image like this, because when you do this, all right, you're going to make it look like one person is special than the other person. Okay, they're going to make it look like one person is special than the other person. It would have been nice if we have this person here. Okay, now the reason why it looks as if there's no space for that for this speaker here is because the image of the speakers is too big. All right, it's too big, and that's why it is like that. And then another thing you also need to work on here is whenever you're asked to work on design projects, try understand the elements. All right, because your understanding of the element is what will help the way you're going to arrange your layout. If I happen to be the one to work on this project, I'm not going to use a landscape view of I'm not going to use a landscape frame for the project. Rather, I will use portraits, because I know the use of landscape here won't really make these images be as bold as this. So if I have it in a portrait view, at least I'll have the speakers right under the title, which is the theme, and then the date, the venue, and time will now come under the speaker's name. And then the other thing you also need to avoid here is the use of too much elements. All right, elements that are not necessary. Now, your job is not to make your projects feel like, okay, I don't want people to think I didn't do anything. Your job is to make the project interesting enough for people to engage with what you have on it. So I'm saying this here now because of the way you have this microphone at the back here. I don't expect you to have this. Even if you want to use this microphone, it would have been nice if you use the pattern of this microphone, like this side of the microphone, then you now scale it big. All right, we make it big. Okay, so I believe with that, it will still, help the look of the project. Okay, And then lastly is shadow, the use of shadow here. You see, when you're applying shadow to your project, you only do it on project that you notice that you have less information on it. And another thing you need to consider when using shadow is anytime you apply shadow to your title, you are trying to separate the title from the background. I know so many designers just feel because I saw there's a design I saw online and I noticed the designer used shadow on the project. The reason why the design looks successful to you is go and check it. It's possible the person used the shadow to separate the object from the background or to make it look like this background here, like the background of the project is like a flat surface, and then we now have that title in front of it to make it look like the title, like there's something holding the title at the back. Let's say something is holding it here at the back and here at the back. All right. But when you notice that you have too many choked information on your design, please limit the way you use shadow. All right. So avoid the use of shadow there. Okay. So yeah, then that's it on this. So let's go straight to our next design. All right. So here, the problem I have with this is too much contrast. Now, as designers, contrast is what we used to make what we used to draw attention to our project, and too much of it most time is not always good. All right. Now, when I say too much contrast here, I notice that this illustration here, all right, is calling attention, and then the colors are too oversaturated. Now, when you oversaturate colors most time, it always make it look like the design is shouting. All right. I know most time we creative always want to make our project colorful. We always believe, okay, if my project is colorful, yeah, it's going to draw attention and people are going to love it. Yeah, but when you now apply the color to the point where it's now looking too heavy on the project, it's not going to help the project at all. So I'm going to advise this person to please watch out for that. All right. So what if I happen to be the one to work on this project, what I will just do is to move this illustration to this side here. All right. I'll move it to this side here, and my information will now be here. All right. All these time, dates, pastor, everything will be on this side, but this will be here. Now, I know you are trying to tell a story by using this side here, but moving it to this side would have been more better. So let's go straight to our next design. So this would have been, this project is beautiful, all right, but the only issue I have with this is the designer did not play it with the use of elements the right way. All right, everything is just there on the project, and the reason I said it's beautiful is because there's this using color to create space. All right, now when I say using color to create space, this is what I'm saying. We have this white color here, all right, and then we have this color here also, all right, which made this look more fun. But this box here is taking space, so I don't expect to see this. This is not necessary. If you put this under the title here with this same color, it will still go. And then this your lines here, this line with where you have this logo here is too thick. You should have made it slimmer, all right, like make it tiny. And then another thing you need to avoid, if you're the designer, you're looking at me here now, avoid placing your text on the margin, all right, this side here. At least move it up so that there will be space around the space for that text to breathe. Okay. So don't please, this here would have been nice if you place it somewhere. If you place it here, all right, we have it here. Would have made more sense. All right. And so the issue I have with this is just the layout. No, the layout is not really okay because everything is just flying around. We have this here, This is at the bottom here. This is in a, we have this in a box. So too much of elements that are not really helping is what I believe is affecting this. And this also is not necessary. All right. You only use you only use this if the project is talking about chats, like maybe a platform for chatting. All right. So I don't think this is okay. This is not okay. So the use of too much of elements, please avoid it. But the way you play with the color here by creating space with this white and this purple color here is beautiful. It's very beautiful. And this illustration also, the way you put this box behind it, it's superb. It's just the way you play with this the use of this shape here that I think you need to avoid. And then the way you place this here, and then space, there should be space here. All right. I'm talking of you moving this up, like close this space a bit so they can be spaced at the bottom here and also at the top here. And then this shape is always good for when the information there is saying something about registration or maybe like a button. That's when you use this tube. All right. That's when you use this tube. So um yeah, I think that's for that on this. And let's go straight to our next design. Yeah, so this here uh I believe this is a fictional project because I expect to have a logo here. All right. And here, the issue I have with this is, yes, symmetry. The design is balanced because you notice that the space we have here is similar to the space we have here. So this is more like a symmetrical balance, all right, which is okay, all right, it's okay. But the only problem I have with this here is that the elements are too close to each other, all right? They are too close to each other. And in graphic design, there's something called proximity. Proximity means, you grouping your elements, all right, like making them be on their separate group. But when you have just one proximity on your project, like the way you have it here, because everything that you have here are all together. So it looks as if everything here is, they're like one family and everything is looking too, it's too choked. So here, what I would advise you to do next time is at least add space. Let space be around here. All right. Yeah. So let that space, put that space there. Okay. And yeah. Then also, this element here is not, it's not really good. This chair that we have at the back here is not, it's not really okay. Right. So avoid it. All right. Avoid it. It's not good. It's not good. It's causing confusion there. So avoid it. And yeah. Okay. So I think that's it on this. All right. I don't have any issue with your layouts. Okay. I don't have any issue with your layout. Is fine. It's just the allowing room for space, like separating the information on your project, and then the use of this chair that we have on the background here. All right. And the funniest thing, it would have been nice if we make this chair visible and then you now have this title on one line, like you have them on one line like this, and then you now have the chair. All right. You have the chair here in front of it. It will make more sense than you hiding it. Okay. So let's go straight to our next design. Okay. So this is going to be our last design today. And before I say what is wrong with this design, I want you guys to know that every project you're asked to work on, why you're asked to work on this project, is to help the brand capture the attention of their target audience. All right. And part of how you do this work is to understand the type of audience that that the brand is looking for. All right. Now, the reason why I say this is this: the use of fonts that are not really okay for lengthy text. I'm referring to this here, is what this designer used here. It's not all fonts that you have on your PC that you're supposed to reuse on your design project. And it's not all font that is good for uh, lengthy text. Most especially display type. There are some display type, all right. There are some display type that is not always good for stuffs like this. All right. So use more of fonts like this to have made more sense. All right. And the other thing I noticed that is not helping here is the layout. All right, is the layout. I believe every information here is important, but the way you now took everything on the project here is it's not okay. Now let me help you. Whenever you're working on design project and you have this type of uh, elements, I'm talking of this microphone here, you'll notice that this microphone has so many details around it. It has so many details around it. If you're going to place your elements when next you're working on your design project using this type of microphone, please, or you're using any illustration that carry too many information around it, avoid placing anything close to it. Anything you place close to it is not going to be visible. It's going to make it look like the design is busy. So make this, all right, be on its own. Do you understand? Make it be on its own. Okay, and then you now have your information on one side. Then the other thing you also need to do is I mentioned this before that your element is what determine the look of your layout, and this is not only on the layout part. It also determines the frame of the project. All right, it also determines the frame of the project because this guy here has so many information around it. I said you have to give it space. This type of frame, this box frame that you have here is too small for it because we still have all this information here that people need to see: the venue, the email address, and then the phone number. So this here needs more space. This microphone here needs serious space. All right. So this frame here, this type of frame that you have for this project is too small for it. We now make the whole thing worse by creating this light effect, and then you now have this text on the background. Anytime you use this light effect, what you are trying to depict is energy. So this light effect alone always carry weight. So this with the weight, you now use it on an illustration that carry weight also. And then we now have this glass effect thing that you put here. So it's what I believe is affecting the success of the design. So what I did to help you guys understand my point here, because I know some of you may not really get my message, so I decided to do the redesigned version of this to make it clear for you guys to understand. So it's a very quick redesigned version of this artwork that we have here. So this is it here. So look at this. So because I noticed that this here carries too much information, all right, I decided to use a portrait frame size, which is also the Instagram portrait frame size. And the use of the energy that my colleague used here is what I also used here. But watch the way I use mine. I did not make it so loud. I make it small because this will make it will, most time when we do this, it always give the project that interesting look. All right, and that's why I'm not against the using it on that other project. It's just that the designer did not pay attention to the layout, the illustration of the project before applying other elements to the project. All right, now see where I placed the other service, the service that the brand is into with the contact details here. So this is the venue here, and then we now have the title, all right, which is the name of the brand name, all right, here. Okay, so yeah, all right, so I am going to stop here, and then for the use of color, before I stop, for the use of color, the color I use is from this side. And because I know that this here is important, I'm talking of the phone number. So I decided to use a color that carry heavy contrast, that no matter where you place it on the project, people will quickly see it. So that's the reason why I decided to use this red color that we have here. After taking my time to look at the project, I realized that I did not really hit the nail on the head. I said in a previous design that whenever you're working on any design project, it's always good for you to understand the audience of the brand. And that is what actually inspired what you're looking at here. So, because I know the people who are the target audience here are people who are in the music industry, so I decided to create something more fun so as to grab their attention and get them involved in reading every information on the project. I did that previous design when I was not fully relaxed. All right. I noticed that it's almost time for the design review. So I just quickly put that together so as to have something to show you guys. And so the lesson I want you guys to catch here or to grab here is never work on any design project in a rush. Don't rush any design project. When you do that, most time we hardly come up with good design that way. So I would advise you to always take your time to see what you can add to the project to make the project successful so you can get a pleasing result. So I so much love this concept and I hope you all do too. So I am going to upload a tutorial on how I achieve this on my channel. So if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when I post this tutorial. All right. And if you enjoy this design review, kindly share it with your graphic design friends and family. Hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment in the comment section. So I'll see you again in the next video. Peace.